Hello everybody, Caden here today with another episode of WildLife Park, and, well, I guess technically the final actual episode, I guess? Considering this is our last build, guys. This is the last exhibit we're putting into the zoo, which, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird, guys. I just suddenly being like, oh yeah, we're done. Granted, we're not done, as you guys will see in the exhibit tour. I've still got a lot of work to do. I have to finish off the park, and I'll be working on that from today's episode all the way until Friday, which will be the final episode, the actual final episode, which will be a world tour, so we'll take you guys all around the park. And then you guys will be able to download the world for yourself and explore the zoo if you want to. But anyway, well, I had to decide what animal was going to be added in today, because I wanted to go for something good, and I decided to go with the African elephant, because I felt like that was the obvious choice, and it was like the only big animal we didn't already have in the park, so, we kind of had to do it, didn't we? Now, I feel like I kind of have a problem with doing stuff like this, and I can see this problem even happening with like the Dino series, where I like to keep the big exciting animals for last, because it's like, well, that's the big exciting animal, of course I want to save that for towards the end of the thing, so there's something really cool at the very end. The problem with that is, sometimes at least, is I feel like I need to make this, like, the final build super amazing, and then it doesn't always meet that expectation. Now, granted, I think I set the expectations too high for myself, and like what I expect myself to be able to build versus what I do end up building, and I do think this exhibit ends up looking really good, actually. In some ways, I like it better than the Asian elephant exhibit, although I think the Asian elephant exhibit is, well, I mean, I know it's way bigger, and maybe a bit better decorated, but this one to me felt a bit more like an actual zoo exhibit, which was kind of cool, I thought. But yeah, it still looks really awesome. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. This is probably one of the longer builds I've ever done, mostly because, just like is the story of this series, I did not plan out really this exhibit before I started. I had a general idea, but I didn't like draw stuff out and spend hours looking at reference images, which is something I'm going to be doing for the next WildLife Park series, which will be starting in January, hopefully, and that will be the aquarium park you guys all voted for. So we'll be building a massive aquarium with lots of cool stuff added on. So hopefully that series will be really cool. I hope you guys are all looking forward to that. It should hopefully be pretty amazing. But yeah, with the current build we're working on, at least, it goes through a couple of iterations. Like I said in the last video, it's kind of weird sometimes watching and knowing what's going to happen, and just kind of seeing, like, obviously I know how the build ends and how it looks when it's done. So it's kind of weird watching it go through all the stages again and being like, oh yeah, no, that changes dramatically in the end. But yeah, like, I think it ends up looking really cool. I ended up doing two main rock walls, the little border wall, and then a fence. You guys will see it. I mean, it's the more zoo-looking type of exhibits we started doing right at the very end of this series, but yeah, it looks really cool. Also, if you look in the background of the video, you can see you can see some of the stuff I've been working on. Aside from this build, I have been incredibly busy on this world the past 2 weeks. Just finishing up builds, redecorating a couple of exhibits, finishing some exhibits up, adding in tons of decorations and stonework and rock work and all sorts of stuff. So when we get to do the tour on Friday, you guys are going to see the zoo's going to look pretty different than it does right now, and I think that's a good thing. I think it ends up looking fantastic. Or a lot of the areas are starting to look absolutely fantastic, and I'm really happy with how it's all turning out. But yeah, the elephant exhibit was originally going to be way more hilly, and I actually kind of regret not doing the same kind of hill I did with the Asian elephants, where the elephant exhibit starts at a low point and goes to a high point. This one's kind of the reverse. It starts at a high point and goes to a low point, although this one's way more flat than the Asian elephant exhibit was, which I think it has its own charm, and it does definitely differentiate it from the Asian elephant exhibit, which was a good thing. I didn't want to build the same exhibit twice. Although I will say, that doesn't mean some of this stuff wasn't copied from another build. I think I actually if you guys look at the raised platform I'm building here, it is basically ripped right out of the Rugops exhibit we built with for the Jurassic World Reborn mod. Just because I thought that was a cool idea, and I thought it'd be an interesting way to throw in a second area of viewing for the elephants and give you a better view into the back of the enclosure, which, yeah, I think, well, you guys will see when the exhibit's finished, but I think that area is going to get expanded out. I think the elephants do need a bit more space. I know several of the African animal exhibits need more room in them, and some of that's already in the works. I'm actually recording the voiceover for this a couple of hours after I finished the video, because after I finished the video and the time-lapse, I actually went back on and worked for a while, so yeah, it already is looking a bit better. I haven't gotten to the elephants yet, but I did get to like the giraffes, because that is one people have told me I needed to expand. But yeah, anyway, you can see I'm setting up lots of rock work. I don't finish all of it. I finished all the interior of the exhibit stuff, but all the exterior stuff, I ended up just deciding it was a better idea not to make this time lapse like 6 hours long, partially because I also couldn't do a time lapse that long, but also I can get all that rock work figured out later, figure out exactly how it's supposed to look, tie it into all the enclosures and all that kind of stuff on my own time. So hopefully that'll all turn out really well. I'm hoping it does. You know, like, oh, it's crazy. It's been quite a journey, guys, getting this zoo built. I think I think the weirdest thing that I realized yesterday is just before I was recording this, because I was planning out some stuff, but man, it's insane to me how much this series has changed since episode 1. Like, we've kind of changed up how we made the videos, how the exhibits started to go together, what we did for the exhibits, adding more mods in, more animals. It's just crazy to me how this zoo has evolved over around 6 months. I think we've been working on this project for about 6 months, because I think this is, oh gosh. My voice is starting to die here. Sorry about that. Anyway, oh, you can see there. That was actually something I wanted to talk about. Was I added in that little pond thing, a wading pool for the elephants. I think I need to make that a little bit bigger, but I thought that was a cool differentiation from the usual just, oh look, there's water in the exhibit kind of thing. But yeah, like I was gonna say, it's been like 6 months since we started this series. So 6 months of work. With the next video, 50 videos, just so much work has gone into the zoo, which is cool because, like, you know, it's cool to know I've done that much work. On the other hand, though, I'm like, I definitely can see where we can do better, and I think in the future for WildLife Park and the zoo series in general, I'm seeing a lot of ways we can definitely improve it, and I'm very excited to be able to do all that stuff. So you might wonder real quick, why did I get rid of all the regular coarse dirt we've used in the savannah area? I decided I wanted to try placing down the plants first and then switching it over to the other kind of terrain. But this just, yeah, it had mixed results. I still messed up the world edit commands. I messed up a couple of block IDs, basically. And that kind of meant a lot of this grass disappears. And part of me is actually just considering moving it back to mostly grass, although when I thought about that, I realized most elephant exhibits I've ever seen really don't have very much grass in them, do they? They're usually pretty much just like dirt or sand. Oh, and yep, there you can see. It looked a lot like an Arctic exhibit there because I messed up the concrete color. There we go. That's a bit closer to what I meant to do. Right now I'm just kind of flying around, placing more blocks underneath, basically reinforcing everything so gravel and sand and such don't fall down. It still fell in a couple places, but overall I think it turned out pretty good. It looks really cool. I like the look of this. I think I should throw in a bit of grass here and there just to kind of add in a bit more green to the exhibit, but I think it looks really cool. We do a big shade and some acacia trees as well to kind of bring a bit more color in, and I think the final overall build just is fantastic. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say, so I'm gonna let the rest of the time let's play out, and I'll catch back up with you guys to show off the build. All right, everybody, here we are with the the final showcase of the build, and I really like it. It's maybe a bit less grand than I was kind of hoping it would be, and I may have actually thrown in an extra elephant on accident, but overall, I think this has turned out wonderfully. I think it definitely has its own, I don't know, it has its own personality. It sticks out from the other various Savannah exhibits we created, and I like that. I don't know, I think there's certainly things I might come back and fix with it before the world download next episode, but overall, I think this is a great little exhibit to or actually it's a fairly large exhibit. I mean, it's bigger than most of the builds we've done. But yeah, I think this was a good last exhibit to do to kind of round off the park before we finish it all. And they are so loud. I don't know if it's super loud for you guys, but they are like deafening for me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just really, really like this. I think it turned out really cool. I guess I'll just show off. I know I've already discussed all this in the time lapse, but yeah, I did this cool little elephant pool, cause I don't know why. I feel like this may be more based off of a polar bear exhibit, but I have seen several elephant exhibits where they have stuff like this, where it's some sort of slightly raised up pool that the elephants can go and drink from, but also wade in when they need to cool down. We have a nice big sunshade over here, which I wasn't originally going to add in, but then figured I probably should. We have a cool little feeder here. We have a bunch of hay everywhere else. We got the cool elevated viewing up here, and yeah, I'm gonna throw in like trees and stuff around here so that way it's not just super open and you can see everything. But yeah, overall I think this has just turned out really, really cool. I think the Savannah area certainly has, out of all the areas we've worked on so far for this whole series, I think this area certainly has the most interesting exhibits. All of them are different, they're unique, they have their own individuality and different feel to them. I mean, that's cool, this is cool, that's awesome, those are all awesome, that's awesome, that's awesome. They're all just amazing and I adore them all. And yeah, now I just have to go back and finish the rest of the zoo off, add in the last few builds, decorations. Well, when I say builds, I mean like this, like adding in rock work and stuff like that. But for the most part, I guess this is it. Like, it's just weird knowing that this is the last exhibit. This is our final build for this world. So yeah, next episode we'll be coming back to do the world tour and the world download. So yeah, you guys will be able to get this world next episode. And yeah, and following that, of course, and I'll talk about this in that video as well, we will be starting a aquarium zoo. I don't know when, sometime early January, so if you guys are excited for that, make sure to stick around, and yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy that. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this final build. What do you like? Any last suggestions you have for things I can add to the park to make it look a little bit better? And yeah, I think that's all I've got to say, so thank you all for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed, and until next time, guys, see ya.